What happens when a prophet dies? Last night, Russell M. Nelson, the prophet of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, passed away. He was just over 101 years old. Hi, if we haven't met, my name is Jen Bessire. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I'm also a medium and a healer. When I heard the news this morning about the prophet's passing, it was about an hour before church, and I just cried. I automatically had this love in my heart for this man that I had never met in person, because I knew that he was the prophet of God and that he was leading Christ's church on the earth today. I had the same response when the last prophet, President Thomas S. Monson, passed away. He was the prophet at the time that I joined the church, when I was in my 30s. One of the things I am really grateful for is that there is an order and a structure to the way that apostles are called and who becomes the next prophet. A new apostle is called each time the prophet passes away. The apostles all serve for the length of their lives. They are never released. They are never given emeritus status. So even though President Nelson was 101 and he had been in declining health, he was still the prophet. And because the priesthood is eternal, he is still the prophet, or is still a prophet, even though he is now back in heaven and in the spirit world with Christ and with his family and with all those who have gone before him. The priesthood is the power that men receive that gives them the authority to act for Jesus Christ and to fulfill the roles and responsibilities that they have within his church. Because, like I said, there is this order, we now have a vacancy and we need a new apostle. And we already know who the next prophet is going to be, because the next prophet is simply the next man that was called after Russell M. Nelson to be an apostle. So Dallin H. Oakes, at the age of 93, will now be, and is already now, the next prophet for the church. He is actually the same age that Russell M. Nelson was when he was called to be a prophet. If you are interested in observing this process of sustaining the new prophet and seeing a new apostle being called, this weekend is the General Conference weekend for the church. And General Conference is held twice a year, the first weekend in October and the first weekend in April. And we gather together for multiple broadcasts on Saturday and on Sunday to listen to the apostles and other church leaders, including women who lead church organizations, to hear their guidance and the messages that the Lord would have us receive at this time. It's my favorite weekends. These are my favorite weekends of the whole year. We will sustain Dallin H. Oakes as our new prophet and potentially have a new apostle to sustain as well. I am so grateful for this order and this structure. I am sad at the passing of President Nelson, because I know that he was a prophet of God, and my heart is just full of love for him. And I'm so grateful for his example and for his service and for the spirit he brought as he led us. And I am grateful for the order and structure that we now know who the next prophet will be. And I'm excited to hear what President Oakes has to say this weekend. Again, if you want to learn and watch and see how this process works, do a search for General Conference online and come join us and see a new prophet being sustained on earth today.